going on over yonder off-road? Today, I'm bringing you my opinion on the best tire size to run on your stock Jeep Wrangler 392. Let's get into it. So like I said, we are focusing here on stock, not upgraded, no lift, no gears, nothing. As factory as it can come. What your best option is for the biggest size and the best price that requires the least amount of modifications. And I am currently running the tire size that I'm bringing to you today. And as you all are aware, we're almost back to wheeling season. The weather's turning up. The next wheeling trip is right around the corner. Me and a bunch of great guys are going down to Hawks Pride in Alabama at the end of the month. You guys just stay tuned. Wheeling videos are coming. We have a lot of wheeling trips this year planned. Can't wait to bring you guys all this awesome content. Again, if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, like this video. Now let's get back to the video. So like I said, we are focusing on the stock Jeep Wrangler 392 edition. That's stock suspension, stock gears, stock everything. What's gonna be the best bang for your buck? What's the biggest you can go, the best quality to keep you from having to do any modifications or to dip into your pockets anymore to beef up or make more clearance. And I am currently running the tire size that I'm reviewing today. A 37-inch tall tire, a 12.5 wide is what I believe to be the best tire size for the factory 392. If you have an extreme recon already, you're ahead of the game with the taller gears. If you don't, you might see a little bit underperformance. If you're unfamiliar, the extreme recons do have the 456 gears. That is helping a ton when it comes to putting up a little bit bigger of a tire, which they already come with 35s, so you're only bumping up just a little bit more. Therefore, it only throws your speedometer off a little bit more. So if you don't have the taser or anything else to recalibrate your speedometer, you're not looking at too heavily of a difference in speed. The reason I say 37s and not 38s, yes, you can fit 38s, but you have a problem with rubbing more on your inner fenders. I've seen numerous people that put 38s on theirs. They either rub like crazy or they have to put an aftermarket bump stop that's taller than the factory one to keep them from rubbing, especially in the rear. And the 38 also brings on some more weight, making it harder to stop and slowing you down, and the acceleration, which we can all agree the 392 is what you love out of it. All that torque. In my experience, I have put on aftermarket inner fender liners front and rear, but I hadn't when I first put these 37s on, and they only rubbed the same amount as they do now with these aftermarket fenders, which is only slightly in the front only. There is no rubbing in the rear whatsoever. The front, at full articulation, it does rub ever so slightly. You never feel it in the steering, and you never even hear it, but you can tell where the paint's missing in some spots, about strips about that long. At full turn, one way or the other, it does have some rubbing, but nothing to be concerned about. On the trails, the 37 is pretty much all you need to get by 90% of the trails you're ever gonna see. It's obviously gonna tackle the moderate trails with ease, but even the extreme trails, you can get by with a great spotter. I've been on numerous hard trails that I didn't think I had any business being on, but with the right spotter, you'd be surprised about how far you can go. Clearly bigger tires will get you farther, but again, we're sticking with factory suspension, factory everything. And going up any taller than a 37 does require modification to the vehicle. On the road, these are still super stable tires. You don't feel squirrely when you're high-speed cornering or anything like that. And yes, I know I said high-speed cornering in a Jeep, but again, we're in one with a lot of horsepower. You tend to carry speed places. Larger tires, you do lose more drivability with, but the 37 really seems to be in that sweet spot. And again, I'll circle back to it's just more bang for your buck. When you stick with the 37, you're clearly going to be cheaper than anything bigger. And you don't have to sacrifice dipping into your wallet more to upgrade your suspension, upgrade your gears, upgrade your brakes, upgrade your axles, and so on and so forth, which comes with bigger tires and heavier weight. Yes, you can always run the bigger tire, like the 38, with all factory everything, but you're gonna rub. If you're doing any kind of moderate to heavier off-roading, you're more than likely to break something, especially with all the horsepower and torque in these. There's a lot of weight getting slung around. Now, I am currently running the Cooper Discoverer STT Pros. This is my third time purchasing these. I put 35s on my TJ, sold it, put 37s on my Gladiator, sold it, and now I put the 37s back on this JL 392. I absolutely love this tire. It has proven to sell time and time again to me. It's great in the snow, it's great in the rain. It's a great daily driving tire. It wears so slowly. I've got 30,000 miles on these and they still look extremely, extremely healthy. the road noise is next to none. Even with the 30,000 mile wearing on these, they've gotten slightly louder in time. Brand new, they're actually a very quiet tire, all things considered, how large the tire is and how aggressive the tread pattern is. They're extremely quiet for what they are. Now these Coopers do have an extremely thick, tough sidewall, which I love. Again, I'm out here in North Carolina. My home park is URA National Forest, and if you've ever been there, you know the rocks on those trails are super sharp and love to cut tires. A good quality tire is gonna take you a long way in places like that. Be able to take the abuse and not even flinch. It does tend to stay tall whenever you air it down, and I don't have bead locks. I think where I could benefit more is if I did bead lock these wheels and be able to air down my tires down to the single digits and really take advantage of these. So I typically air down to about 12 PSI front and rear due to the weight. And circling back to more bang for your buck again, miles per gallon. The higher you go in tire size, the lower your MPGs are gonna go. We all know this. With my 37s, currently I'm getting 13.9 to the gallon, and that's because I was really just in traffic. I can probably get it up to about 14.2, 14.3 on the way home. I've seen as good as 15 to the gallon on a road trip before, even with this whole thing full of luggage for camping. There went 14 right there. Again, clearly we all know none of us are gonna get very good gas mileage once you get anything higher than a 33. And that's pretty much it. I mean, to wrap things up again, I'll say the 37s, the wear and tear on the vehicle isn't any more excessive than the 35s that come on this Extreme Recon. I've wheeled it extremely hard a lot of times, knock on something hard, haven't broken anything. The factory setup is still riding true. And in my opinion, the 37-12.5 does look the best on this factory suspension setup. It fills the wheel wells just enough. It gives you that aggressive tire poke outside of the fenders that you would want. It doesn't look like it's stuffed like a 38 or a 40 would. And it doesn't look undersized like the 35s and below do. That's all I got for you today. If I left anything out, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I'll answer them as soon as I can. But for now, I'll see you guys soon. Heading to Alabama in 2 weeks. I'll get that video out as soon as I can. Catch you guys in the next one.